You went to the Wharton School of Finance?
Any of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan.
No, they don't. No, they don't, Stinky. Just like your last plan.
It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and
It's going to bring up our worth.
work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences. Like runs just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have.
Run, Spot, run.
Have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this, because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here.
That's exactly what tariffs are.
On foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued that it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year.
It's not an argument. Tariffs tax everything. Continue.
Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have, and who's going to have higher prices is China.
This idiot does not even understand his quote unquote platform. It's nonsense.
All of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so
No, they weren't. That's a lie.
were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take it.
What are you talking about? All you did was revise tariffs that were already in place. The ones that were ridiculous, the ones that were costing us a fortune, yeah, those are the ones they eliminated, you dumb shit.
Billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation.
Timmy, what's going on, brother? Let's continue with this. This is a first for me. You know, it's very hard to do this because the equipment, all the equipment and stuff, and all that. I'm building. I'm going to be building a studio, but I'm going to wait till I move to a farm that we're getting ready to buy. All right, let's go.
Inflation perhaps in the history of our country, because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy...
No. As a matter of fact, at the end of this thing, when he ran to the spin room, he just started frantically throwing numbers out there. 85, 65, 75. This is a wet dream is what this asshole is.
economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place.
That's not true. That's not true. Those were tariffs that were revised by them, right? The ones that they took off were the ones that he imposed. Because he essentially made our farmers welfare recipients. You know, he bribed them for their vote with our tax money because they were they did when they did the trade war, China targeted the farmers and they didn't buy their soybean and it rotted in the fields.
In place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the
Exactly. One of the highest trade deficits we've ever had with China. Continue, VP.
we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is, under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help.
Of course he did. And now you know why Xi, and Orban and Putin want him, because they eat this onion's lunch. Look at him. Look at him. He can't stay awake. Look at that.
To help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out, when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies.
Wake up, Stinky. Wake up.
Focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race.
Sheila, what's up, kid?
On AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's.
You just destroyed his noggin. You know that. Wake up, Stinky!
Workforce, so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi.
Yeah. Thank you, President Xi, for the $17 million you gave me when I scuttled the TPP, and for all the trademarks you gave my skank daughter. Continue.
Exclamation point, when we know that she was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have. And
What? The Chips and Science Act is reshoring jobs as we speak. Something that you didn't do. You didn't do jack shit. When you were the president, you didn't do jack shit other than create a huge deficit. You killed 1 million people and you had people rioting in the streets. It was a disaster.
and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything.
I'd like to hear what your policies are. You have yet to give anybody policies other than, I'll tell you what, other than making it harder for people to do just about everything.
Thing that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my
Who in the hell wants a dunce cap?
philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist.
This idiot is calling somebody a Marxist, right? And he has no idea what a Marxist is. This is a functionally illiterate moron, right? And he shits himself in public on the regular.
Her father's a Marxist professor in economics.
He's a Stanford professor is what he is, you know. And unlike him, he actually went to class.
And he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring...
Nope. Millions and millions of people are not pouring in here. That's nonsense. Here. Okay, guys. All right. This is what you do whenever you think, because I get a lot of comments about people that, you know, they have high anxiety about this guy and somehow they're scared of him. Just take a look at this from a drone's view, right? Okay, look down and see. All it is a bunch of bald-headed weasels, right? Texting and sending out texts and scaring the shit out of people. And all they have to fear is fear itself. That's why I laugh at this. He's a joke. He's pathetic. You know, the thing is that we can't let him get near the White House anymore because his stupidity, his incompetence has tangible effects on us. You know, look at what happened last time. We had a communicable disease that he tried to wish away, and he ended up killing 1 million people. I mean, this is a joke. This idiot's brain stopped functioning in about third grade, you know? Continue.
Our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say. And I think it's a lot higher
Nope. TAL. That's a lie.
than the 21.
That's a lie.
The New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming
No, they're not. That's a lie.
in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, well,
Speaking of that, there are cities in this country that are offering severance packages so immigrants can come and work there because they don't have enough employees. Erie, Pennsylvania is one. Topeka, Kansas is another one. And there are various cities that are offering immigrants a chance to come and land there and work, you know, because we do not have enough workers. This dude's full of shit. He's scaring people with something that there's really not any reason to fear. The only problem that we have basically at the border is that we can't process these people fast enough to get them to paying taxes, you know? And the thing is that these people that hire these people under the table, they don't want them. They don't want them to pay taxes because that way they can pay them under the table and labor is cheaper for them. You see, that's the whole thing. It's all bullshit.
we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy.
We'll talk about immigration later. And he turns around and starts talking about it.
They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have.
Hey, Stinky, I thought you said she didn't have any policies.
To hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
Oh, hold on, a commercial. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Like I say, this is a computer and a prayer here. Okay, let's go.
To the issue of abortion, President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade.
Uh-oh.
Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard
Stinky, you look like an old shoe.
to your 6-week abortion ban, because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support.
Okay, you see, this whole Roe v. Wade deal, what he overturned, this was him returning a favor to the evangelicals, those radical Bible thumpers. But look at what happened. This has, he wishes that he would have never done that. That they would not have told him to appoint these judges. This topic and those judges are going to land him in prison, and he knows it.
Support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed.
Why should they? Why should they? He screwed them over.
Your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know,
The reason you're doing
they have abortion in the 9th month.
That's a lie. And that's a horrible lie, too.
Even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before. He said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute.
That's nonsense, and that's a horrible lie. You know, when he talks about executing the baby or you know, whatever shit he's talking about, right? Okay, that, you know, he took that talking point and ran with it because, you know, there are instances when the baby is not going to live, doesn't have a heart, doesn't have vital organs, doesn't have a spine, and they're not going to live, you know? And that's when you have to, you know, determine whether the fetus is viable or not, you know, or the baby, whenever he gets here, is viable, you know? And it's a heart-wrenching decision for, you know, parents that, you know, they wanted to have a healthy child and they didn't. So this asshole has exploited a horrible situation. It's awful. It's just awful Continue, you moron, spreading that whopper.
Execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The
That predominates.
Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was
Who is that? What's his name? Name him, Stinky.
horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it.
That was projection 101. At least he doesn't put on eyeliner to go on a date with his couch, you imbecile.
Her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution.
This is nonsense.
No longer abortion because the baby is born is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something
Listen to Stinky using big phrases. Hence the vote. He was waiting. He was dying to use that one.
52 years they've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. That's bullshit. That's a lie. All you did was you busted open a scab, basically. That was settled law, you prick.
the genius and heart and
The genius. He opened an enormous can of worms.
of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for
I'm glad. You know what? This idiot is committing political suicide. I'm glad he's owning this.
rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do.
If you believe in the life of the mother, then why don't you believe in abortion in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month if the life of the mother is the fact here? You know? I mean, you're trying to have it both ways, Stinky. It's not working.
Do exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. It was settled law, you prick.
Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican.
Stop. Right there, Stinky. Stop. Okay, so you're telling me that every Democrat wanted a woman's right to choose to become a toss-up, right? Like you had to vote for it or something. Like the Democrats wanted for abortion, the right to choose to be determined from state to state. You hear how stupid that sounds? How incredible, how mind-numbingly stupid that sounds.
Liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states.
No, they didn't. That's a lie. TAL.
Vote. And that's what happened. And now, Ohio.
That's what happened.
The vote
Happened.
was somewhat liberal. Kansas.
Hey, okay, now he's trying to say that, you know, states that have had, you know, that on the ballot, you know, that it has been some kind of like, you know, this state voted liberal, this state voted liberal. Shit, every state that has been on the ballot has voted to bring back Roe, you dumb shit. Yeah.
The vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? It overwhelmingly, women want and need their right to choose, you imbecile.
Each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it.
Oh, yeah, right. Tell that lady in Texas that almost bled out that you did her a good service, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. And I don't care what you did and didn't do. Women should have the right to take care of their own bodies, you prick.
Courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
The fact that this lady had to correct him and it almost sounded like a damn disclaimer.
Madam Vice Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care in one state.
You're losing him. He's falling asleep. This is almost like she's wagging her finger at a 5-year-old who got caught with his hand in a cookie jar. Look at how pathetic this idiot does. Look at that. Look at that bubble head. Continue, VP.
State, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for...
Just listen to how crazy that sounds. You know, a woman trying to get health care could have her doctor and her put in jail for life. That's awful.
Rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral.
This is his legacy, by the way. This is his legacy. Garbage, turmoil, and shit. Yeah.
And one does not have to abandon their faith.
Stinky, it looks like you need some more dope.
Or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied.
Stinky, she's unloading on you. Wake up.
Care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that.
That's awful, Stinky. Stinky, wake up.
Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you.
What the hell was that? That little side thing with his head. This looks like Leave It to Beaver 80 years from now.
When Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it in.
Yeah, she killed him last night. She killed him. We ain't even gotten to the funny parts yet. I don't know how long a live stays. I hope it stays long enough. Let's continue with this.
To law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national...
Hey, Dizzle, do me a favor, bro. I need you to comment. Comment, right? Now, not only so I can shred you, but you're good for the algorithm. Continue.
Abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes.
That was very well put.
Again, it's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because...
You practically have, you imbecile. Because there are places where that's banned and banned after a certain time. Yeah, I'm down here next door to you. That's right, yeah. Y'all know I live next door to this prick, okay? Right? Down here in Palm Beach. And there's a 6-week ban here, and hell, DeSantis is actually, they're sending people to knock on doors and do all kinds of shit here, man. It's terrible.
We've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states.
Nope, that's a lie.
The states are voting, and it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn...
She is all lies, right? Tell me what she's lying about. I'll wait. Look at him. Just look at him. Look at him. That is a mouth breather, a pedo that shits himself on the regular. He took a shit in the last debate. Look at that noggin. Look at that noggin.
Torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she
Keep on. Continue. Continue. You're burying yourself.
says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Oh, this dude's going to lose by 20 million votes. I guarantee it.
Veto a national abortion ban if it
Well, I
came to
won't
your desk?
have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote.
Here's where he talks civics. This idiot has no idea how Congress works. None. He thinks that if he doesn't have a majority, right, that he can block certain bills. And he thinks that after the election, that the House and the Senate, that it's going to be 50-50. No, it's not. They are going to get destroyed because of him. That party can rest in peace. He burned it to the ground.
Especially now with the 50-50, essentially 50-50 in both.
Nah, it's not even going to be close.
Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what?
Yeah. This guy has no idea how Congress works. None whatsoever. He thinks he could call up that do boy of his, that Christmas elf, Johnson, and tell him to stop bills, to start bills. As a matter of fact, you know, this is how anti-American this prick is, right? The budget, you know, they're threatening to have a government shutdown, and he's all for it. He's all for it. Just like he had the border bill killed. You know, this is an anti-American sack of shit. You know, he's only in it for himself, but he has a shitload of cases looming. I mean, from all angles. This idiot cannot avoid a prison sentence at this point.
Reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe.
Nope, that's not true. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's let him finish talking shit about the school loans, and then we'll get into it.
Student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look.
What are you talking about, Stinky? Oh, by the way, let's talk about recreation and presidents, okay? All right. One of my best friends in life, right? Okay, Dougie. I just call him Dougie. He was his caddy, like forever, right? And he just got fed up with it because he started getting a bad reputation because of this guy, right? I mean, this guy is a terrible, terrible golfer. He can't break 100 if his life depended on it. He doesn't putt out. Once he reaches the green, he stops, and he does what it takes to putt in. He doesn't count it. And when he hits one in the lake, which is often, right, he throws it back. He had Dougie in them, walk down to the ball, right, and then take a ball out of his pocket and throw it on the green. I mean, on the fairway. Yeah, right. He was and a matter of fact, right, when they would play foursomes, right, and they would make bets 2 against 2, right, and it was so bad for this guy that the caddies would give the money back to each other because they know that he would never win. That's how pathetic. This guy claims to be an expert golfer, and he's terrible at it. One of these days, I'll interview Dougie. You know, I don't know if you want to put his face on it, but I'll interview him, and he'll tell you, you know, that this guy is a horrible golfer. Continue, Stinky.
Look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And
I couldn't anymore. Okay, as far as the student loans are concerned, despite the interference that shit Supreme Court is running, they have managed to erase $21 billion worth of student loan debt. You prick, you son of a bitch.
And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that.
Hey, is Dizzle talking about gas prices? Man, I was up in Tennessee because I'm looking for a farm. I have racehorses and stuff, you know, and I plan on keeping one and taking them with me because my wife likes to ride, right? And yeah, I have them down at Gulfstream Park. We do really good with them. I'll send pictures of them, you know. But up in Tennessee, the gas was $2.40 a gallon.
That they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance.
Hey, y'all, don't scare my Dizzle away. I'm going to get to him after this. I promise. Dizzle, you're on my radar. You're in hot water, brother. Continue, honey.
Said that you would veto it if you did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with JD, in all fairness.
Listen to this. Listen to this. He claims that he has policies or issues he's talking about, and he doesn't discuss them with his vice president. How insane is that?
And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look.
Hey, Big Pants, if Dizzle is a Russian troll, it ain't going too well for him. Biden's proxies have killed about 700,000 of those morons. Tish, what's up? Hey!
Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans.
They did. $21 billion worth. I mean, no, let me tell you another story. Okay, I run a gym. I run a really nice gym around here. You know, I'm the manager. I do anything that has to do with it, I do it. There was a lady, nice lady, right? But, you know, I'm in MAGA country and they have Fox News on some of the TVs and stuff. This lady, I overheard her having a conversation with another lady that in Ohio, they were eating cats. And I had to stop her right in her tracks and go, that's a lie. I went, that's a lie. No, it isn't. That's a lie. And I finally had to prove it to her. But no, that was just one of those stories.
Close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't...
21 billion erased, okay? So stop talking shit. That's a lie.
Doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact
wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. I know you are, but what am I?
is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government, and we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And
please, my Dizzle, do not go away. We are having too much fun with you.
now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And
100%. Stinky, wake up, Stinky. God, I love this lady. She is so pretty. She kind of reminds me of my ex-wife a little bit. And my firstborn kind of looks like her. Go figure.
Understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women.
if you ask Stinky what the letters IVF stand for, he's toast. Look at this. Look at this. This clown actually looks like he's dead. Like he's dead. Got out of bed today. I wish the alarm clock would go away. Which me am I gonna be today? Am I gonna be the happy me or the me that stinks? The you that stinks. Continue. That was horrifying. Let's go. Uh-oh.
Who are working one or two jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs.
Kamala was awesome, you know. And she sounded even better, right? Because when you have this as the bar, she sounds like the smartest person in the history of brains. I love you, Kamala. I love you a lot.
Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make
Wake up, Stinky. Wake up.
decisions about her own body. And that is why
By the way, if some of you haven't heard this whole thing, it gets a lot better. It's going to get a lot funnier. Continue, VP.
in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President.
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie.
No, it's not. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, right? CNN, which I can't stand. They're a bunch of pricks, right? They did a fact check, and this idiot told 36 lies, and she had a questionable falsehood. One. That was it. That was it, my dizzle. Continue.
I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got
You
it
have been a
early-
leader on fertilization. Fertilization isn't the problem here. It's the process, the vitro part. But if I told you that, that totally unshot ear would explode.
very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts. I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it.
Wait, you've been a leader on it. Then why did it even have to be a vote? Why did they even strike that down then? I didn't see your campaign go over there and lobby for it. You know? Why did they even strike it down? Because of you. Because of you. All you did was made Americans' lives miserable, right? That, and you killed a bunch of them too. It's incomprehensible. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And to my people I have people from all around the world that watch me, that watch my funny videos, et cetera, and so forth, right? That they are dumbfounded by that you're not in prison and you're able to run for the presidency. They're dumbfounded. And to you guys, I apologize. We're in the process of getting rid of this sack of cancer. Continue, you moron.
On it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF.
You've been a leader on fertilization.
And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do
Good
that?
God. You even got a reaction out of her because it was so ridiculous. By the way, almost 100% of the time, right? If you have somebody that needs to have an abortion in the 8th and 9th month, it's usually because it's a tragic situation. And all he does is politicize it. It's garbage, just like his garbage Supreme Court. What? What Miss Kamala needs to do is move on the Supreme Court as soon as we throw this son of a bitch in prison. Yeah, continue. Hey, CD, we might have to fight over that. I love you. Uh-oh. My wife is in the other room. I hope she doesn't hear that. It's a chance I'm willing to take.
Why don't you answer the
problem.
question? Would you
Because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question,
you
would you
could,
veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at
Can you do it in the 10th and the 11th month there, Stinky?
the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to
You're full of shit. First it was the governor of West Virginia, and then it was the governor of Virginia. Make up your mind. Let's see where these idiots go if they go to a break or something like that.
turn now to immigration
Uh-oh.
and border security. We know it's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were
It's not important to Republicans. It's a wedge issue. It's a wedge issue and a non-existent issue. Like I said before, that is not a crisis. That is something that just has to be addressed by having more judges and putting more border patrol there and determining who it is we want to keep and who has to go back. It's kind of complex, but it's not. It's not. There was a border bill that actually made it harder for people to get in here. And to be honest with you, for me, that's a problem because we need migration badly. As a matter of fact, the infrastructure bill, right? They're working on a whole bunch of roads around here. And you look around and see who's working there. And I see Mexicans, I see people of all types, of all walks of life working on the roads and doing all kinds of stuff in good paying jobs, you know? Yeah, continue, Stinky.
You were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would
That is a dumb shit question. It is. Man, let me ask you a question now. What has there been like an influx of a bunch of people like, tearing down the intersections or throwing bricks through the Walmart window? It's bullshit. The only thing these people fear is fear itself. Continue, you moron.
would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
Absolutely, Phil Cos. Immigrants are absolutely necessary. That it keeps this country safe. It keeps this country safe. It keeps they keep the economy going, and it's crucial to have them here.
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job.
Exactly. And we would be better equipped to filter these people. But no. This asshole killed the border bill because he wanted to use it as a wedge issue. Nothing more.
It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country.
I have a remedy for fentanyl abuse. Don't take it. How about that? Guess what? You can't die of a fentanyl overdose if you don't take it.
That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill?
Hey, Dizzle, you wanted Kennedy in? You mean the guy that eats whales that he picks up off the side of the road? Mr. Phlegm.
Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand,
Griffey, Jeter.
this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president...
It is amazing. It is amazing at the way this country fell for this con man. It's amazing. This is a functionally illiterate mouth breather. I mean, he's a mouth breather. This idiot doesn't breathe through his nose anymore. He can't. He can't. Have you seen those nostrils? He's literally a functionally illiterate mouth breather. And we had him in charge of this whole motherfucker.
Is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And
that's all he has is some wedge issue that I'm telling you, it's not a crisis. It's a problem that can be resolved, you know, but they don't want to because they constantly want to use it as a wedge issue. It's bullshit.
I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend.
This is where it gets real good. Hey, Dizzle, listen to this. Watch how this sucker just takes the bait like a guppy. Watch this.
One of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early.
Oh! Stinky woke up. By the way, I have been to those rallies, right? I've been to the ones down here, right? Where, you know, they're super MAGA and people leave. People get up and leave. I've actually heard MAGA say, oh, I've heard this before. It's a bunch of bullshit. This is good.
Out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll say he doesn't care about you and all he wants is your vote.
Needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so, that would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border?
First, let me respond.
He never answers this question, by the way. And this is a question that needed to be answered. It's definitely a question because this prick, right? He didn't want the border bill signed because he's a selfish asshole. Continue, Stinky. This is going to be good.
Responders to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go.
Bullshit. Bullshit, Stinky. In their convention, they filled that stadium, and then future Vice President Walz was at another stadium, and they filled that one too. This Stinky is about to explode. We have a liftoff.
She's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest...
Oh, yes, they do.
most incredible rallies.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's a bunch of slack-jawed mouth breathers. And all they are these days are Klan rallies. Because all you do is denigrate people that don't look like you. God forbid, nobody wants to look like you. But anyway.
Politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost.
This whole thing about get our country back, make America great again. Again, the 30,000-foot view from a drone, right? Okay, or whatever, an airplane. You look down, right? And you're like, who took our country in the first place? It's not a thing. Didn't happen. Make America great again. We're great already. We are the #1 country in the world. Forget about it. Hands down, we're the #1 country in the world. So again, take a look at this from a drone's view and look down. All it is a bunch of mouth-breathing, bald-headed scumbags that got wedgies in high school that they text scary shit, right? And people respond to it, especially these dumb shit Republicans. Continue.
Boss, we're a failing nation.
No, we're not. No, we're not. And I'm getting sick of that. He kind of sounds like, you ever remember those Budweiser commercials? Real American hero. He's a failing nation. A failing nation.
Happened 3.5 years ago, and what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another...
You see, there he goes trying to scare people again.
Russia.
Oh, hold on. We got another commercial.
New rule.
Florida.
Currently insured. Drive less than 50 miles
Wait,
a day.
hold on, guys.
In a qualified zip
Oh.
code, you can get
Russia investigation
We do have a lot to
that
get-
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings.
Nope. Here's how this works. Get in office and then do it. That's why it's important to vote up and down blue. It's important. We need all three chambers. We need them all. You know, this one, we have it in the bag if we just do our part, you know, but we've got to vote all three chambers. And anytime you get a chance, repeat that, man. You know, that way we can get more things done. Continue.
Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
Okay. All right.
So
That
my values
you see
have
this
not
whole
changed,
thing.
and I'm
This
gonna
whole thing
discuss
about
every one of the-
this whole thing about banning fracking eventually, right? But she never said that. No. That's bullshit.
at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking.
There you go, right there. With your stupid ass, and that dumbass Fox saying, no, she wanted to ban fracking. Who gives a shit? That's disgusting anyway. Okay? What's the big deal? Shit ain't saving us any more money. That's disgusting. That shit with the byproducts, all that stupid shit runs off into the drinking, the pipes and all that shit for people that drink in poor neighborhoods. Yeah, bullshit.
I have not banned fracking as vice president.
Fracking is garbage.
United States, and in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which
Hey Jay, it does poison the water table. 100% it does.
new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved.
Yeah, you know, there are so many renewables, right? That, you know, this all goes along with solar, wind, all that type of energy. Once we get that down and we are able to produce more of it, right? We don't have to worry about that disgusting fracking that's giving all these kids cancer. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I'll get to the cancer kids soon too. We got to talk about that. Continue.
And was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver
And that's the truth. Stinky's going to deny it.
platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to
That's a plan. It's a detailed plan.
having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams.
You see, those are all great plans, and it's basically, what we are trying to accomplish now. This asshole and his pricks want to form an oligarchy. As it is, when he was the president, the transfer of wealth was enormous, right? He wants to turn this into a shithole like Russia, and it's not going to happen. We're going to reject this blockhead and his band of bald-headed weasels. Continue.
My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down. And name calling, the true measure of the...
Name calling is all he has, honey. I should know I'm pretty good at it.
The leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well, first of all, I wasn't given $400 million.
Yes, you were, Stinky. Yes, you were. And you torched it. All you've done all your life is run a debt shuffling scam. That's all you've had. That's all you've had. You prick.
My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great
Your
farmer.
father was a Nazi son of a bitch pile of shit. They asked him what time it was towards the end, and he told them half past his ass.
And I learned a lot from him, but I was given a fraction of that, a tiny
Nope,
fraction.
that's a lie.
And I built it into many, many billions of dollars.
No, you didn't. That's a lie.
Many billions.
No, you didn't. That's a lie.
When people see it, they are even surprised.
When people see it, they are even surprised. What a mastery of the English language.
We don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years.
Who gives a shit? Like if that's something bad, like if to be against polluting the earth is something bad. This is how far these assholes have moved the goalposts. Fracking is garbage, And they do it for the sake of saving money, of producing more oil. We're producing more oil than ever, you prick.
Defund the police. She's been against
Nope, that's a lie. You mean the police that you had your mouth breathers attack, you son of a bitch? Yeah, No, I respect the police. In another job that I have, I officiated football at a very high level. I have police officers that escort us in and out of the stadiums. Great people. They're bad police officers, but just like everything else in every walk of life, you prick. Nobody wants to ban them. As a matter of fact, your budget proposals took money away from them at every turn. Son of a bitch.
forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least...
Hey, Dizzle, what has she done? Infrastructure, chips and science, cut $21 billion of student loans, capped insulin at $35. Made it so in the in the Inflation Reduction Act, $16 billion to black colleges. That's just for starters, and that's with divided government. Those are all facts, Dizzle. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be nice. Continue, Stinky.
At least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota...
Nope, that's a lie.
Went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now.
You're an idiot.
Mind, please.
No, let him talk. Oh, continue. Please talk. This is going to get so much worse for you.
Does that sound familiar?
Don't lie.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of.
You want to pardon a bunch of mouth breathers that attacked the Capitol and shitted on it because of a lie. Okay? Now, Did you raise money for them? No. What? Hey, I thought you made billions and billions of dollars. Why didn't you provide bail for these mouth breathers? Huh? Huh? Because you're pathetic. It's all a lie. Again, the 30,000-foot view. Yeah. This is all a fucking lie.
To do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. Wait for it. Wait for it.
A radical left liberal.
No. That was a good one, Stinky. How was it again? Operations for illegal immigrants in jail?
Wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never.
Nope. That's a line that the Republicans have been saying since the Obama days. No, but that last time I checked, not one person I know that carries a gun, right, has had somebody knock on their door to take it from them. You're full of shit, Stinky. And look at you. You're looking real old there, Stinky.
Fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one.
No. If only that were possible. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice to end that garbage. Yeah.
Thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever
No, you didn't. That's bullshit.
done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it.
When Biden and Harris took over, they got rid of the oil business. Oh, continue, Stinky. You look like, he looks like Lou Dobbs.
And the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys
Prices were going up the roof.
go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher because you're talking about 3.5 years ago.
What? You're meandering, Stinky. You would have been 4 or 5 times higher, and you're talking about 3 years ago? What the hell did that even mean? Hey, Diz, what did that mean? Lou Dobbs Jr. here is fucking up.
Got it up to where I was because they had no choice because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened.
They were quadrupling and doubling. Well, at least they started to go down.
Gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day
Who said let's go back to Trump?
after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar.
A-golf, man. I had to explain it to Tom. I have Tom Brady Jr. around here. Yeah, he hangs out with Griffey and Jeter. They're getting pampered right now. The salon people are here for Griffey and Jeter, so you'll have to excuse them. But I have Tom Brady here, the cat, and he was devastated. He came and said, man, are they going to eat me? No.
Where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar?
They need a whole desert for some energy to come out. And up through the brown come a bubbling wind. Windmills, that is. Clean air, movie stars.
Solar plant, by the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not
issues.
Shut up. Wrap it up, Stinky.
Thank you.
Oh, another commercial.
A urologist to throw away all my blue pills.
What?
And
Viagra. I love Viagra.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful
55 there, David.
transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president.
Yeah, and this asshole trashed it. Yeah, he should be in jail. Again, Why are you reminding my people from around the world about this? I know we need to know, but we can't forget about this. Okay, here's the thing. They're actually permitting him to run for president, you know? And he tried to overthrow our government, and they're trying to do it right now. Oh, yeah, Continue, Stinky.
Moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on...
That was a coup. Call it like it is, David. That was a coup attempt, is what that was. Son of a bitch.
Television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2
Wake up, Stinky.
hours before you sent out that video message telling your...
Yes, it was. It was 189 minutes, you prick.
...to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered.
Damn it, you just woke up. You just got Griffey all upset.
Peacefully and patriotically, I said.
Nope. But for you, that wouldn't have happened. With your fucking lie and those blue ass rags. None of those flags said Pelosi on them, did they? No. They were all there because of you, you prick. You bent the minds of a bunch of racist morons. Son of a bitch.
During my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody...
Nope. So what, you prick? But for you, it wouldn't have happened. You were the cause of this. Wait a minute. Hey, Tom Brady, what's going on? Hey, no, he's not going to eat you. I promise. I promise, kitty. Tom Brady, I promise. Okay, continue, Stinky.
Nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control...
This is disgusting. This is disgusting. There were officers that took their lives.
But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that.
What does that have to do with January the 6th? That's all he does is he resorts to a crisis that doesn't exist. This is an asshole. Ain't that right? No, they won't eat you, I promise. Continue.
She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, well, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about...
There is no crisis at the border. There is a problem. It's not a crisis. If it was a crisis, we would have sent the military down there. It's bullshit. It's a lie. Continue.
those people?
Not to mention, we have veered off completely of the whole January 6th question. David, I'm assuming you're going to make him answer it.
When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South...
For what? For what? For what? Anybody crimes, we throw them in jail. You dumb shit.
They're coming in from all over the world, David.
What does that have to do with January the 6th?
All over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me
when are those, David, when are those people going to be prosecuted?
Hey, Joe. Yeah, no. I'm definitely a child. I'm not childless, but I am a cat man.
The people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted, or in Seattle. They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
Wait.
Unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes, sir.
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech.
They marched on the Capitol, right? With flags with his name on them. With his name on them. And then he sat around and didn't do a goddamn thing while Jordan, McCarthy, all those people were calling him, begging him to call the National Guard. Yeah. And begging him to tell them to get the fuck out of there. But he didn't. You know why? Because he's a goddamn traitor and a criminal and he should be in prison. Right? Yeah.
I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington.
No, you didn't. That's a lie.
D.C. And the mayor put it back contract in writing, as you know.
Nope. No, he didn't. That's a lie. That's a lie.
This is going to be a very big rally, or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others.
No. Okay, let's call it what it is. That wasn't a rally. That was a coup attempt. That was a coup attempt. And this prick is not in jail. Amazing.
Said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me.
That is a whopper of a lie. A whopper of a lie. And people have testified under oath that that is a lie. Oh, my God.
It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying
That's a lie.
is fully responsible for what
Tal.
they want to get rid of that tape.
Tal.
It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of
Tal.
did their jobs.
But for you, none of this would have happened. But for you, none of this would have happened. You started lying from day one. From day one of your presidency, you started lying for this to happen, you prick.
I wasn't responsible for security.
Oh, yes, you were. You prick. You could have called the National Guard, but you didn't. Those you're shit in your pants sycophants were begging you to call the guard.
Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former
That's a lie. Okay, let's go, David. What do you got to say?
Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate.
You hear that? And this idiot still got 70 million votes. Still with that. What a, jeez.
And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was,
Man, there was a lot of people that got a case of amnesia here. Awful.
I say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a...
Okay, this is how you turn the page. You get this motherfucker and his assholes in Congress, and you cuff them up, and you give them a perp walk, because they have effed around, and it's time for them to find out. That's it. And then let the chips fall where they may. The hell with these mouth breathers. Yeah, it's about time.
a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear.
What do you think,
on
brother?
this point,
Let's go.
has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business.
You're full of shit. Yeah, and what about your buddy Roberts from Project 2025? He said that it's going to remain bloodless if the Democrats wish it to be. The fuck is wrong with you, you asshole, you prick?
What was where Bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannon.
What do you mean debunked? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was
What are you talking? What are you talking about? You said it. It's on tape. Find people on both sides. You dumb shit. You must have had David Duke over for lunch that day.
in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring
Yeah. That's your whole platform, you prick.
up. I ask you this: you talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing it?
Let's talk about the Capitol. Why are we letting millions of people come through on the border? You see, this is all he has. It's this wedge issue, right? That we could have resolved a great deal of it had he let Johnson bring that bill to the floor. But he didn't, because they don't want to resolve it because they're anti-American, pro-Russian pricks. Every single one of them. Continue.
And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down
What the hell does that even mean, Stinky?
to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States.
This asshole thinks that you can close a door and shut down the border. Hey, here's the thing. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's a problem. Let me correct that. It's a problem, but it's not a crisis. It's not a crisis, you know, and it's something that can be resolved. Well, they will resolve it once him and his paranoid assholes are out of there. Yeah.
You'll get him out of bed. You'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll say, come on down to the office. Let's sign a bill. If he
What an idiot.
signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal.
This kind of reminds me of Michael Scott in The Office when they talked to him about declaring bankruptcy, and he just went out and said, I declare bankruptcy. That's like, okay, you sign a bill and, okay, the border is now closed.
If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President.
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to.
Look, he's still supporting those mouth breathers. He is still supporting those parasitic trailer trash mouth breathers. Yeah, and he talks about pro police. Yeah, All you cops that stand behind this guy in his shit Klan rallies ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
I want to focus on this next issue to both of you, because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost
Because he's a fucking liar. That's why.
by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say that.
sarcastically.
You lost, and stop playing with these idiots' heads.
It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
No. Okay. Point to one instance of fraud that cost you the election. You can't, because it's nonsense. It's a lie.
Look, there's so much.
And if you don't believe me that it's a lie, ask Fox News. They got hit up for $787 million for that bullshit lie.
All you have to do is look at it, and they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting
Yeah,
president
and Biden got 81. You lost.
has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in
Well, you were told wrong.
2016, You can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls.
Listen to that. He said if you get 63 million, you'll win, because that's what he got in 2016. He lost the popular vote in 2016. Continue, Stinky.
We need, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our
We have good elections, you prick.
elections are bad.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
A lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They
Nope,
can't even-
that's a lie. That's a lie. Illegal immigrants cannot vote. That's a lie. TAL.
speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm, lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification.
David, you're killing him.
You and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them
No judge
Republican,
looked at it.
and said
They
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread fraud.
standing. That's the other thing.
That's a lie. That's a lie. And if you didn't have standing, it's because he looked at the lawsuit and laughed in their faces. By the way, you still owe Rudy for that. You know, this super PAC about finding out what happened in the election, you just got that money and kept it. That's what's keeping your businesses afloat, is the money you steal from these people. As a matter of fact, watch. When this shit ends and you lose the election and the money stops coming in from these mouth breathers, right? Letitia James is gonna go and start shutting the doors on your shit businesses. Watch.
They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where
We didn't have standing. It was a technicality. This is a moron. This is a Neanderthal is what this is.
a person in an election doesn't have standing? The president of the United States doesn't have standing.
What? He doesn't even know what the phrase means. This is an imbecile. Oh.
That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you do a special
Man, you must have been sitting down a lot, because that was 60 cases that you didn't have standing.
on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania.
Really? You want to show us Georgia? 11,780 votes?
And I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what?
Okay, yeah. Why didn't you present them in court? Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't have standing.
Doesn't matter, because we have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have a nation in decline, and they have put it into the...
That's a lie.
nation
That's
in
a lie.
decline, David.
That's a lie.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker, so he still believes he did not lose the election.
So he still believes that he did not lose the election. David, you're acting like he's lying to himself, which is true. No, I don't think he's lying to himself. He knows he lost the election.
That was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences.
That's just him dope talking, is what that is. He took a couple rails and took to the stage and started dope talking. That's cocaine courage, is what that is. Fucking prick.
Of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people.
You're fired 81 million times.
So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time
God damn, Stinky. That's a lot of times to get fired.
processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are...
That son of a bitch looks like a hemorrhoid. I swear to God. Google hemorrhoid.
laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked
Whoa,
with
whoa, whoa,
military
hold on,
leaders,
hold on.
some
Let's
of
go
whom
back.
work with you,
Let's go back.
and they
Let's go
say
back.
you're
This one hurts.
of the United
This one
States
hurts.
who attempts, as he did in the past,
Right.
to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom work with you.
That was devastating. Look at what look at this face. You talk about weird. That's a weirdo right there.
And they say you're a disgrace.
Oh!
And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost.
Reality with a right cross. Reality with a jab. Reality with a roundhouse.
Did in fact lose that election. It leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the
Carmen, what's up, Carmen?
temperament or
Ray, what's up, man?
the ability to not be confused about fact. That's deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
Man, she scolded him and shredded him at the same time. A masterpiece, mama. Like they say, chef's kiss. Mwah. That and I like you a lot.
To respond, Mr. President.
Let me just say about world leaders.
Yeah, you know when his face turns into like a reverse cyclops. You know he gets that butthole mouth that he's gonna fucking wind up and fire out a lie. Now he's gonna bring up Viktor Orban. Let me guess.
Viktor Orban.
He's a despot. He's a despot. You know what Orban is? Okay, he is Putin. He's in charge of handling this guy for Putin. That's what he is. That Viktor Orban is a goddamn toad whose country has like a 20% inflation rate.
Respected man. They call him a strong man.
No. He ain't strong and he ain't respected. He's a scumbag.
Tough person.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's an imbecile. Look, there goes. Oh, I got a butthole in the middle of my face.
Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago, it was.
It's not blowing up. What are you talking about? Your life is blowing up. So is your campaign.
Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president.
Look at who he names drops. Viktor Orban. Oh my God. He is proving her point right here. I'll bet you him and Putin are watching this, right? And they're going, he said my name. It worked.
They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't know.
No. So that's why they want you back, right?
Weren't afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him.
Nope.
Korea was afraid of him.
That's why they want you back. That's exactly why they want you back, huh?
Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended
You're an imbecile.
the XL pipeline.
Dang, you actually think that Russia is afraid of you.
XL pipeline in our country, he ended that, but he let the Russians build the pipeline.
Remember the stinky in Helsinki? Well, Putin's words were very strong and powerful.
Going all over Europe and heading into Germany. The biggest
Griffey.
pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if you weren't in that debate,
All you did was lie and shit yourself.
you'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes, which
She was on the ticket, you moron.
he did. You talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office.
That's a lie.
And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her.
That's a lie.
Can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got
That's a lie.
0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now
When she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. What does that mean?
she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm
President,
okay with it because
Your time is
I
up.
think we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Oh, we got another commercial here.
Choosing a holster for your everyday carry.
3, 2, 1, and back to the show.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying...
Exactly. What is wrong with that? Good Lord. Uh-oh. Hold on, man. What happened here? What? What was that? Oh, no. I lost it, guys. I lost it. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this back, because the good part's coming. Let me see.
Kamala Harris debated
Oh.
an unhinged lunatic
Nope.
last night, and I couldn't help but feel embarrassed.
What is this?
that this man has been the nominee for president of the United
Uh-oh.
States now for the third
Here we go,
time.
man.
He is clear.
Technical difficulties.
International humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians.
We're back.
You said that
Sorry about that.
9 years ago. Now an estimated
Technical difficulties, champ.
Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the...
Hey, thanks. I did that. Yeah. I went back to the address bar, and there was like 4 or 5 windows open. Actually, I had another bar open because I was doing the data for one of my racehorses. He's sitting on a race. I'll explain that later. All right, let's go.
deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started.
Bullshit. Bullshit. It was your peace accords that actually triggered this. You struck peace with with countries that weren't even at each other's throats. That was terrible, what you did. Terrible.
President, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have...
Bullshit. They were sitting at the border, right? And waiting to go in, but they were waiting. They were hoping that you would get us out of NATO so that way they could walk over Ukraine, you fucking prick.
Never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine.
There was never no threat of it. What are you talking about?
Millions of people, when you add it up, far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet.
She doesn't hate Israel. Nope. She just doesn't like the prick that's running it right now, that criminal Netanyahu. But anyway, continue.
With Netanyahu, when he went to Congress to make a very important speech, she refused.
That scumbag. That scumbag. All he did was went and tried to go around the back of our policies with you. As a matter of fact, he went and met with you, that scumbag. That's what he is. He's a fucking scumbag. And the Israeli people want him out. Okay? You're full of shit, you prick.
To be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been...
Yeah, just like you said, the stock market was going to crash like 1929 if Biden won the election. You dumb shit. Your predictions are garbage.
Pretty good at predictions.
About the only thing you can predict is that when you feel like taking a shit, your diaper's going to get loaded.
I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs.
Everything's going to get blown up. This is his deal. This is his deal. They're coming to get us from the border, and the whole world is going to blow up. Who believes this stupid shit?
People, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now
That's a lie. He signed a waiver allowing Iran to sell oil because he was terrified that the prices were going to go up. But the thing is that COVID came and the prices stayed down. He let Iran sell oil. He's a prick. That's a lie. Continue.
Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions.
Hey, Sidley Bodilly, you're absolutely right. Our country's doing great. Not fine. We're doing great, okay? Yeah.
That I had. Iran had no money for Hamas.
That's a lie. Not to mention, what Hamas didn't require a lot of money. Motorcycles, Toyotas, hang gliders, and some weaponry. That was nowhere near an organized army. That's bullshit. He's talking about because Iran didn't have money, which they did, that green lighted them to attack them. It's bullshit.
Or any of the 28 different spheres of terror, and they are spheres of terror.
They told him to say that, huh?
Terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually.
They did. I just broke it down. You signed a waiver allowing Iran to sell oil. That's bullshit. And again, they didn't need a lot of money to do what they did. It's bullshit. It's a lie. It's a lie. You continue with the lies and nonsense.
They had no money.
That's a lie. That's a lie. A two-pronged lie. And I find myself repeating myself because he keeps on repeating the lie.
They were broke.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. That's a lie.
And now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around.
That's a lie.
What's happening with the Houthis and Yemen? This would never happened I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended if I'm president-elect.
Yeah, no. Well, hey, look. If you claim that you could end the war, right? Why don't you do it now? Why don't you do it now? If you have all the answers, why don't you give recommendations? Huh? Because you're a prick. Because number one, you're a liar. And number two, you're an anti-American sack of shit. Okay? That's right.
Done before even becoming president.
You heard that? Before becoming the president. What, you have some kind of shadow diplomacy? You violating our laws? You have some kind of in with Putin? You son of a bitch. Yeah, huh?
President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
No, that's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life
Isn't her husband a Jew?
supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that he's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
Yep. That day he was dope talking too.
Is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un.
Ouch. Stinky, wake up. It's getting serious here, Stinky.
And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace.
He just grew another hump in his back.
We understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it.
I'm not the one. They're the ones. I'm not the one. I know you are, but what am I?
That's weak on national security.
Nope. Just ask Putin. If we're weak on national security. How's it going for him over there? Our proxies have killed nearly 700,000 of his troops. They're running out of bodies.
Every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country.
Nope, that's a lie.
Their crime rates are way down.
Their crime weights are way down. What, they lifting weights with criminals? They have criminals on each side of the bar now?
Putin endorsed her last week.
Yeah, right. Like he actually meant it. He said that so you would come and say it, as if idiots are going to believe that.
Hope she wins, and I think he meant it.
No, he didn't.
He's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak.
Nope, not true. Ask Putin.
Incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made? Nord Stream?
They told him to go with this.
The biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe because they're weak.
No.
You can have said you would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight. How exactly would you do that? And I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look,
I don't know what's going on. I think we lost it.
More because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger getting this.
Are we back up, guys? I think we're back up.
With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president. Okay, they respect me.
Are we back up? Somebody say something. Yeah, no, I'm back. I don't know.
They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin. Hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is
What is this moron talking about?
a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before
It's a war that's dying to be settled. You really want to use dying with that?
become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never
Is that how you're going to cut the deal? You'll speak to one and you'll speak to the other and you'll get them together. Listen to the art of the deal here.
happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Not at
I
all.
left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after
They did it while you were there and you permitted it, you imbecile.
I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it
What the hell do you... You're meandering, Stinky.
wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead. And it,
This is an imbecile. He had no idea how to stop it. Yeah. What were you going to do? Let him walk over Ukraine? Of course you were. Of course you were, because he owns you. He has piss tapes of you, and you owe him a shit ton of money, you prick.
it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III. And
No, we're not. No, we're not. Not even close.
we have a president.
Again, that's all this asshole knows is he's trying to scare these mouth breathers.
We don't even know if he. Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to
He's in the White House, you imbecile. You sure ain't the president, that's for sure.
They threw him out of a campaign like a dog.
No, they didn't. There you go, banging on dogs again. You're terrible. You're terrible. Yeah. Hey, Jeter, he's banging on you again, huh? That's awful.
Oh, is he our president? But we have a president.
You're an idiot. Look, this idiot lost it.
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up. With just to
What
clarify the
what
question.
what the hell was that?
Do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to.
What? To give half of Ukraine to Russia? You prick? And then when are they going to stop? You miserable shit, you.
Stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Harris. I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine in this moment, but also as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
No!
I believe the reason that Donald Trump
Oh, snap.
says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up.
Yeah, Oceanside, just get it done. You know what that means, right? To bomb them, to drop a nuke on them. This is a miserable sack of shit that has the brain of a seed, that has a seed for a brain.
And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine...
And wait, imagine how far along and how much fewer dead Ukrainians there would have been had this idiot and his idiots in Congress not cut the funding. It's awful. They own a shitload of deaths. This is a prick right here. This is a prick. You're looking at the face of a moron, an evil moron. You know? Yeah, that's what he is. Jack off.
Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin...
100%. I agree. 100%. Son of a bitch.
Agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO. And what we...
This idiot is pathetic. Look at that. He's pathetic.
have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest.
Yo, guys, that Dizzle, he's in for a rude awakening. But keep on, Dizzle. We need you. We need you. We need somebody to make fun of.
Of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Oh, God, look. Oh. Oh, man, this was getting good. And all of a sudden that happened.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour.
Bro, she said that they would eat him for lunch. Stinky been dressed down.
I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier. And please, I'll give you a minute here.
No. Shut up, Stinky.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow much happier than he is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, because Ukraine is kicking his ass. And no, it's not 300,000. It's closer to 700,000 dead soldiers, you prick. He's sitting in Moscow right now, and he's shitting himself.
But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons.
They don't ever talk about that. Who cares? Who cares? Prick.
He never thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening. But it does happen.
Maybe he'll use them, or maybe he hasn't been that threatening.
That something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war.
Nope, that's a lie. Oh, what happened? That was it. That was it. Let me see if I can find another feed and get the end of this. Relax, guys. Hold on. I'll be back in a second. Now, if I can get this going.
And norms. As a leader who shows strength understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very...
Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, guys, like I said, I'll have all the equipment and all that stuff up when I get to the farm. All right. Now, well, we're just going to have to deal with it right now. And let's see moving forward. This is the first try. Let's go.
Much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Burke said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen...
That's nonsense. That's a lie.
He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen... For years, we were paying almost all of
Nope.
NATO.
That's a lie.
We were being ripped off by
That's a lie.
European nations. Both
By the way, they are on the front of this war, right? They are there. They are bordered with Russia. Okay? So if when the shit hits the fan, they go first, you asshole.
and on NATO, I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you
You're
don't
an idiot.
pay, we're not going to protect you.
That's horrible. That's horrible. What this asshole said. That's horrible. Okay?
I've never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever
Bullshit. Yeah, there's another one of your fake stories.
Done. Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice.
I already told you what that lady's done in 4 years. Do I need to repeat it? You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. You fool.
Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the...
That's what he did. That's exactly what he did.
Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of stories significant to us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite...
Look at the face this imbecile's making.
and receive respected world leaders. And this former president...
I'll say it for you, honey. This butt lick.
invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States.
Are we still up? Are we still up? Let me know down in the comments.
To be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban.
Are you guys still there? Let me know.
Because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved.
What was that all about?
Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than that, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it.